Hey guys, welcome to the channel. Just thought I'd do a quick video, give my thoughts on the rumors that Avengers Secret Wars is potentially going to be split into two movies. So we've got Avengers Doomsday that's coming out at the end of this year in December. And then at the moment, Avengers Secret Wars, which is going to be the direct sequel to Doomsday, is due to come out the following Christmas, so December 2027. However, in the last few days, it's been hinted at that Avengers Secret Wars might actually be split into two movies, dependent on how well Avengers Doomsday does commercially. I'm not sure if that means whether it does well commercially as in makes loads of money, and therefore they want to split that and make loads of money again, or potentially if it doesn't do that well, would they want to try and release three movies, even though they're going to make less money each, but if they release three, there's a chance to make more money. Either way, I thought I would do a video just to talk about that really, and give you my thoughts. So I'm actually quite like the idea. I think it makes a lot of sense to because essentially you'll have a trilogy of new Avengers films. So phase 4 and 5 have kind of been a bit hit and miss. I've generally enjoyed most of the movies individually, but as an overarching saga, obviously it has not lived up to the Infinity Saga in any way. It doesn't really feel like we've been building momentum to a big finale like we had with Infinity War and Endgame. So actually, it feels like Doomsday is a little bit of a not reset, but almost having to take what have we got that we can use within phase 4 and 5? What have we got left over from the Infinity Saga? Hence why Steve Rogers is coming back, Robert Downey Jr., even though he's not Iron Man. And therefore, can we almost reignite interest in the MCU? And do we do that with Doomsday? And then if we do that with Doomsday, can we essentially have a trilogy of Avengers movies, which kind of makes a lot of sense when you consider like all the great trilogies of films that tell an overarching story across three movies. And the fact that we're kind of in this position now with the MCU, I think that's a really good idea. I mean, obviously, it's going to make lots of money for Disney, especially. I mean, even if these movies don't even make as much as Infinity War and Doomsday, even if they make a billion and a half each, that's still you got three movies, three and a half billion. I think that makes a lot of sense. I think looking at the structure, I think based on the fact that they're doing two movies back to back, which have been confirmed, I think it's a pretty safe bet they're going to follow this similar structure to Infinity War and Endgame. So you'll have the Avengers and the heroes essentially losing at the end of Doomsday. And then Secret Wars will be the movie where they have to get back together, regroup, and then eventually they will win. And then obviously there's the rumors that Secret Wars is actually going to act as a big reboot for the franchise. And then we'll reset with the new MCU, with all the characters from all the different multiverses, potentially new actors playing some of the legacy characters, and then we'll move forward with what's one timeline for everything Marvel going forwards. So if that does happen, I think there's probably a lot of story to tell. There's obviously a huge amount of characters. To spread it over three movies rather than two makes a lot of sense, especially if they reignite the interest in general audiences with Doomsday, and then people are reinvigorated by Marvel Studios and want to check out future films. I think if they do decide to split Secret Wars into two films, I reckon Secret Wars might get delayed as well to give them more time, because they'll essentially be filming two films worth of footage as opposed to one. So I reckon we'll end up in a situation where we get Doomsday this year, and then arguably Secret Wars Part 1 becomes maybe a summer 28 release, and then you do Secret Wars Part 2 as a summer 29 release, which sounds crazy, but I think it makes a lot of sense based on where the MCU is now, and just obviously commercially. And I think this is when they've like dragged out sequels before into multiple chapters, it's like, oh, it's obviously not enough story to tell to justify three movies, like with The Hobbit, for example. But I think it probably makes a lot of sense because they're going to have a lot of story and a lot of characters that they can justify splitting it across three movies. So yeah, that was my thoughts. What do you guys think? Why don't you drop a comment below? We can have a bit of a chat about it. And again, if you like my videos, you like what I'm doing, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Thanks, guys.